Coming up on Bloom, we're exploring the cost of wellness and the best places and ways to spend your dollars.
So what's happening is along with inflation, which we all know inflation just keeps going up, food costs are going up, gyms are going up, but especially fitness classes because their rent's higher, they're having to pay their instructors more money.
And we'll tell you about the hot travel trend of coolcations, plus the difference between soft and hard healthcare. We'll have all that and more as Bloom, presented by Lifeguard Imaging, starts now. I'm Gayle Guyardo. Welcome to Bloom, presented by Lifeguard Imaging. The U.S. tops the global list of countries when it comes to spending on wellness to the tune of $1.8 trillion. But where do you spend your money, especially when it comes to the food we eat? Experts will tell you organically grown foods are better for the environment because less heavy farming methods are used to grow the produce, which cuts pollution. But others believe there are no significant differences in terms of taste or nutritional value. So let's get to the bottom of it with the Happy Healthy Human coach, Michelle Cuff. It is so good to see you.
It's good to see you too.
All right, so let's talk about this because people spend money on organic vegetables and fruits. They think it's better for them. In some cases, you say it's safer.
Yes, it is way safer. So I brought a little platter here, and this is what's called the Dirty Dozen. And what that means is these foods here are the ones that are most or sprayed with chemicals. So you want to be really careful. And if you're going to buy organic, any of these here, I would say please make sure it's organic because they're the worst. Okay. And the berries really soak in the chemicals when they spray it with all that stuff. So you want to make sure you buy organic. And I know that organic can get expensive, so this is an issue for people. People think that they don't have enough money, but there's ways around that maybe we can discuss. How to manage your money. There's money-saving apps that you can have. One's called Ibotta, and the other one's called Fetch. So these will help you navigate what stores have what on sale.
And I like, too, that you're pointing out the foods that, like, if you're going to buy grapes, blueberries,
yes,
strawberries, spinach, arugula, all those things, look at the Dirty Dozen list.
Yes.
Let that be your guide of
yes,
where to spend your organic dollars.
Yes.
You do not necessarily need an organic banana because
right,
it has its own little
exactly,
shield on it. So even if they're spraying it,
right,
it's protected by
yeah,
the peel.
And some of the other ones might be they're trying to make money.
Exactly.
By telling you. But these really are worth it to buy organic.
Okay.
And green beans are on the list. We've got grapes. We've got peaches are one, but they're not in season. I couldn't find peaches. They didn't have them. So pears, apples, believe it or not,
and
peppers.
And my own personal tip, I'm certainly not an expert, but I have started buying organic fruit that is frozen.
Yes.
It's not overly expensive, and it doesn't go bad. So I think that's where we're wasting money, is throwing out our fruits and vegetables because we're not using them in time.
And that was one of my tips, is buy the big frozen bags of blueberries, strawberries, and they really go well when they're frozen into a shake already.
Yes.
Things like that. If you have a green thumb, which I do not, you can grow your own garden, and that is definitely a way to have really fresh produce. Farmers markets are all around the Tampa Bay area, wherever you live. Farmers markets are known for having really good deals, and they're always usually organic. Then there's buying in bulk. You can buy in bulk, things like that if you have a big family. So there's ways around it, and I just want to say that, you know how I feel about food. It's like, what's more important than to spend your money on healthy, organic food? I don't,
right.
You know what I mean?
There are ways, like even the salad that you brought today, that you don't have to spend a fortune to make a hearty meal for your family.
Right. So this salad right here, which is a green bean salad, this is hearty. Like, this is a meal. This will feed your whole family. So you want me to tell you what's in it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So we've got green beans. I've got those little pearls of the mozzarella, which are so good. I've got the little tiny baby potatoes, and I roasted them, so they're roasted already. They're perfect. I also roasted some pine nuts. Oh, and that really adds really good flavor. I love pine nuts. They're really rich in magnesium and all sorts of good things. We've got how do you say the olives? How do you say calmata?
I just call them olives.
Okay, well, there's different kinds.
Okay.
But we've got some good olives in here. That's
All
what
right.
we got. Some onion, and we've got little tomatoes. So really good. And then because I love you guys here at Bloom, for protein, I brought wild caught scallops.
All right, yeah, we've got the scallops
Yeah,
here
and they're
on the
cooked.
oven.
They're cooked already. So you could put any protein you want on here. When I had some dinner at my friend's house, she had shrimp on here, and this salad's amazing. I've got here for a dressing just some good olive oil.
And that's another good place to invest your money is for good olive oil, because that's what your body can digest.
Yes. And I brought a little balsamic glaze just for someone who wants a little bit more flavor. But throwing this together was not hard. It was really easy, and I'm telling you, you will feel so good after this meal because everything here is organic, it's healthy, and you've got a really good protein there. You don't even need a protein if you don't want, but I love, to put a protein in a salad.
And another thing that my husband and I've started doing is you can search around online, and there are companies where you can drop ship your seafood for a pretty reasonable price. It's fresh.
Yes.
And we just take it out of the freezer into the refrigerator the night before.
Yep.
You put something like this together for your family. You whip together a salad in no time. Sear a little bit of scallops you have here.
And these are so good. And I actually bought a huge bag at the grocery store. They're wild caught, but they're in a frozen bag. And it was a really good deal. So I can eat off that for days.
Eat for days.
Yes.
Shop for deals. Michelle, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And we're going to share all of these ideas with you on bloomtampabay.com. And when we come back, when it might pay off to pay extra for more comprehensive blood work. We'll be right back. You're watching Bloom, presented by Lifeguard Imaging, saving lives through early detection. Call now 813-582-5222 to schedule your scan today. There is only so much insurance companies will pay for when it comes to blood tests, but some doctors believe paying extra for extensive screening could be worth it in the long run. Joining me now is chiropractic physician and acupuncturist Dr. Kathleen Gehringer. Hey, Dr. Kathleen.
Hi there, Gayle.
So let's talk about the importance of a comprehensive blood screening. I mean, you don't have to do it every time, but maybe paying the extra money just to get a real handle on what's going on with your health could be worth it.
Absolutely, because when we take a comprehensive blood work, we're able to really go in and use what we call precise medicine to see what is going on to that particular patient. Because, for example, when we talk about the thyroid, most conventional doctors only order the two, TSH and free T4, FT4, and they don't order the free T3, TPO, TGAB, or the reverse T3. And what happens is that you only get a small little window, a small little snippet of that patient's total health.
And then what happens is you're just arbitrarily prescribed some medication, and it might not be exactly what your body needs.
Absolutely. For example, when we talk about the thyroid stimulating hormones, which is TSH, when we're looking at free T4, we're looking at the inactive form of thyroid, banking that our liver and our gut health is healthy enough to do the conversion to the active form of thyroid.
So when we pay out of pocket for this, and I know that this is something that you encouraged me to do, and what happened was I was going to just a regular doctor and getting the limited screening, and I was just getting the medication, but my hair was still falling out, I was still gaining weight. So the extra $100 or whatever, I can't remember right now, it's been so long of what it was, but that just opened up a window for you to see so much more. So maybe the patient, if you're just not getting where you need to get with a regular blood test, maybe that's the time to think of something more expansive.
Absolutely, and not only that, it's so important for us to understand how do we interpret these blood work. You see, it's not the primary doctor's fault because they're not really trained on prevention. They're trained in diagnose, this is the problem, and let's treat it. So for functional medicine or functional health, we look at the whole entire picture. What is the root cause of the problem?
So it's like sick care versus preventative care.
Yes, and unfortunately, insurance company only recognizes sick care. So they don't do preventative care or what we call well care.
And if you're getting just treated for sick care, then you're just getting that prescription medication when there could actually be a way to reverse a condition that you're dealing with, or maybe even bring it down where it's not at such a heightened chronic level.
Yes, we can decelerate that aging process or decelerate your body having to work extra hard to try to fix the system. So we have something called normal range and optimum range, and the normal range is when you look at your blood work and it's like high or low. Anybody can look at it and decipher that. However, what we do is we look at what we call optimum range. And optimum range is that we look at what it is where that patient's supposed to be at before they become broken.
Okay, so also I had a question about the window that doctors look at. It seems that they look at a more abbreviated window, whereas you might look at a blood panel and say, okay, at your traditional doctor, this would be considered normal. I don't see this as normal. Like, you'll look at it and be like, that's not normal.
Exactly, and the key is that not just look at the blood work, we have to listen to our patient. See, that's key. Patients live in their body, so they know their body best. As a physician, our job is just to tweak your body a little bit, and then your body has the ability to heal itself.
Very interesting. Well, it's a lot to think about, but I appreciate you talking to me about the opportunities for patients to ask for extensive blood care. Probably something to do with a functional medicine doctor, because you're going to get a little bit more time to deep dive into what you find out.
Yes, and I think it's really interesting, and you know how much I geek out when it comes to blood, because we step back and we look at the body as a whole functional unit and not just individual parts.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Kathleen.
Thank you so much.
All right, we're going to share Dr. Kathleen's story on bloomtampabay.com. And when we come back, we'll explain the difference between hard and soft health care and what you should be on the lookout for when it comes to your medical needs. But first, it's time for today's Bloom Trivia question. How many blood cells does the human body manufacture every second? 17 million, 20 million, or 30 million? We'll have the answer later on Bloom. You're watching Bloom, presented by Lifeguard Imaging, saving lives through early detection. Call now, 813-582-5222 to schedule your scan today. Health systems and hospitals are reportedly losing revenue and patients in an escalating competition for care services. So something new is emerging called hard healthcare versus soft healthcare. Here to explain the difference is certified financial planner Steve Overton. Steve?
Hi, Gayle. This hard healthcare describes the current system we're using. Do you ever get the feeling that insurance companies and lawyers, which to me are one and the same, because the insurance companies have lawyers who write their policies, you feel like you don't have control anymore.
Right.
You're in a system, you're a cog in the system, and you seem to lose control. What we're missing is soft healthcare, which is the relational style. Remember the old black and white movies when the doctor would come to your house with a little black bag because you had the flu or something, and she'll be okay, just give me a call in the morning. Where is that? Can you get in to see your primary care practitioner, your primary care physician, when you need to in a hurry?
It's no. You're at an urgent care. You know, you're at the area urgent care.
Yeah, you wind up in some roadside clinic that's just open. Why are all these little emergency rooms popping up everywhere? Because they know what you just said is true. When I want to call my primary care physician, unless he's part of a large group and I'm willing to see his associates, I'm not getting in there for 3.5 weeks. Well, what's their purpose then? Do they make money just doing high school football physicals? In other words, when I need you, if you're not there, then it's kind of like these satellite dishes you put on your house that don't work in the rain and during storms. Well, that's when I most want to know about the weather, and they shut off. So it's like that. It's an irony built in.
And I'm starting to see, you know, this trend of people paying for concierge care. And you're seeing, I think, more and more of this pop up because of the hard care system simply isn't working for people.
And it's too expensive. And the average family, if their employer is not contributing, I spoke to a guy this morning, had coffee at Starbucks, $1,900 a month for coverage for his wife and he and his 3 girls because the employer is not pitching in. So it's common to pay $24,000, $25,000 a year out of pocket. That includes The premiums, the co-pays, the co-insurance, the deductibles. Who needs that anymore? You know what I'm looking for? What I call AAA healthcare, and I'm talking about A for access. Can I get in? The other A, attitude, and then action. I need to get in. I need to be treated like someone who's not just a number. I mean, how about remembering who I am? And then let's get this thing done as soon as we can.
What would you say is the #1 problem with the healthcare system right now?
Well, on the one hand, look, we live in a great country, and it can be argued, probably successfully and defended, that this is the greatest healthcare system in the world. And when you're in the middle of it and things turn out well, you feel that way. But on the other hand, we have to be willing to look at this system. Banks have figured it out. If you walk into some bank branches, it doesn't look like a waiting room, it looks like a living room. You know, there's lounge chairs, coffee. You see what they're trying to do. And now doctors are changing, Gayle. You get a call the day after a surgery. You get a call the day after a procedure. It wasn't used to be that way. And so they're realizing, because of what you just said in your headline, they're losing money. People are looking for alternatives. They'd rather go to their yoga person, the pharmacist at the drugstore, anyone who will take their call right away.
Yeah, it's true. And another thing that you're starting to see is even your OBGYN is offering Botox, fillers. It seems like they're looking for other ways to make money because maybe of the tug of war between insurance companies and doctors' offices, and they can't make the amount of money that they were making in the past.
And OBGYN that's a forefront of litigation risk because people in childbirth struggle. It's a traumatic experience and they're worried about getting sued. And I know the guy who delivered some of our children, Botox, weight loss, some of these things that are less problematic.
Hormone replacement therapy, all those kinds of things. Now I don't know this, and I know you are a financial planner with some expertise in health. Can you buy just critical care and then go to a concierge doctor, or most insurance companies, you just have to buy whatever package is available through your workplace?
Or like some kind of catastrophic policy where you got a very low premium and a very high deductible, and maybe $1 million limit on the life of the policy. Some statutes make those not legal. Try looking for a policy of that nature, you won't find it. And those concierge services, what if you're a senior in the Villages or Sun City Center, 2 premier retirement destinations in this country in that order, and you're paying concierge? Medicare's not helping with that.
No.
Those guys are saying, we don't take Medicare's assignment because Medicare says, here's what you want us to pay, here's what we're going to pay, and we're only going to pay 80% of that, and now you need a supplement for the other 20%. Hey, if you're well-to-do and you can afford that, you're fine. What about the everyday people, though?
They're getting lost in the shuffle.
They are. And like when you walk into a major orthopedic surgery center and you see the beds all lined up with a name tag on each bed, it's not the patient, Gayle. It's the doctor's name, so he won't grab the wrong patient to operate. It's a factory, and you feel like you've lost control. So you know what you need more than anything? An advocate. Now, I don't do that. I'm not offering services. You got to look out for yourself. If I need you, are you going to be available to me? And how soon will it be? I talked to a guy this morning. He says he gets in 3 days to his primary care. I'm thinking maybe I need that guy's name.
I get that.
Because when I'm sick, I don't get to see anybody right away.
Nor do I. All right, Steve, it's always such a pleasure catching up with
Thank you, Gayle.
We're going to share Steve's advice on BloomTampaBay.com. And when we come back, climate specialist Jeff Baradelli is telling us about a new concept called climate adaptive wellness. Bloom will be right back. With an increasingly heat-crushed planet, we're seeing a new trend, climate adaptive wellness, a wave of innovations that can cool our bodies, homes, and cities. Joining me now with what's happening in our planet is WFLA News Channel 8 Chief Meteorologist and Climate Specialist Jeff Baradelli, who leads the Max Defender 8 weather team. Jeff, it's always such a pleasure to see you.
It's good to be here.
So let's talk about why the climate is changing.
It's been changing really, really fast. The amount of carbon dioxide that we're putting into the atmosphere right now is at a rate that's about 100 times what it naturally should be. And that's happening because of a lot of land use changes. We're chopping down a lot of trees, releasing carbon into the atmosphere. We're burning fossil fuels to power our cars. And our food systems are using a lot of energy as well. And so the result of that is the Earth is warming really, honestly, over the past couple of decades and for the next few decades at something like 10 times the pace of anything we've seen in millions and millions and millions of years. So in many ways, we're kind of the guinea pigs in an experiment that we didn't mean to conduct, but now we find ourselves involved with. The climate is changing extraordinarily fast.
I think it's interesting that you said that it's something that we haven't seen in millions and millions of years, because people would argue, well, the climate, things always change in this world, and that is true. But what we need to be focused on is the accelerated rate that this is happening.
That's the key word, rate of change. Yes, the climate naturally changes, and often on the span of thousands, or more so tens of thousands of years, due to natural orbital cycles, the tilt of the Earth. But right now, we're doing that kind of change, but over 100 or 200 years. And also, when the Earth was warmer, and it was warmer many, many millions of years ago, and actually, before the last ice age, we might have been briefly warmer than we are right now. There weren't modern humans, around, and there also weren't 8 billion people on the Earth. Our system is set up to function very efficiently, and when a big disruption comes, like COVID, all of a sudden everything comes off the wheels, and climate change is starting to ramp up, so it's going to have that kind of impact more and more as we head into the future.
Okay, let's talk about what cities across the country are doing, including here in Tampa, applying for grant dollars to plant more trees. You say that can make a big difference.
It does. It sounds like, just like a simple solution that won't do anything, but it does a lot. And the reason why cities that don't have trees, the blocks especially that don't have trees, oftentimes can be 5, 6, 7, 8 degrees hotter on a summer day. You've lived in a lot of summer heat. You know how hot it can be and what the difference between a tree makes and a tree doesn't make. I mean, think about when you go to the supermarket. You're always looking for that one spot that's under a tree, right? So it does make a huge difference. Also, we find that there are a lot less trees in poor neighborhoods. Wealthier neighborhoods tend to have more trees. They're cooler, so it's disproportionate. So planting trees is very important because it shields us from heat, and it's actually good for people's health. I mean, I'm sure that you probably try to run in places that are shielded by trees on days when it's really hot, rather than exposing yourself to the sun for 2, 3, 5 miles, whatever it is.
And you say when you break it down to the basics, that's really what we need to do, is just to avoid getting out in those intense summer hot days when your body really can't adjust, because it's dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, there aren't that many tricks, right? We're just going to keep warming. We're going to see here in Florida, we're going to see, instead of seeing, let's say, 30 days a summer where we have a heat index over 100 or 105, by the middle of the century, we're likely to see something like 100 days where our heat index is, 100 or 105 or greater. And so, the only way to escape that is not to go outside, or to try to work with nature rather than work against nature. One thing that people are thinking about doing is painting roofs white, which is great because it reflects the sun back to space. Problem is, you can't force people to paint their roofs white, and only certain, let's say, governmental agencies and maybe some big businesses may choose to do so. It's a solution that's out there, but I don't think it's going to be something that we see widespread adoption on.
Yeah, and a lot of people here in the Sunshine State are going to the aluminum roofing just for hurricane protection. Yeah. You can't paint that white, or I guess you could get a lighter color.
I don't know much about whether you can do it or not. And actually, if you live in a subdivision, they may not allow you to paint
you got to be careful.
So there's only so much that we can do. Ultimately, unfortunately, we're probably going to be using more air conditioning in the future to cool us down. And there are a lot of people who are just going to choose to move out of very warm climates. It's going to happen. Yeah,
people are going to start heading up north and chasing cooler weather.
We're seeing that because insurance rates are getting too high in hurricane-prone areas right now. People are leaving because they can't afford to live here. I think we're going to see more of that in the future as well.
All right, Jeff, we always appreciate all of your insight, and you've got the Climate Classroom, which is a streaming show where you teach people about this all the time.
Yep, I try to do this once every week or two, where we pick a different climate topic, and people who are open to learning about it, I love for them to tune in. Not everybody is open to learning about it, but it's nice when people are. I can definitely kind of help them set them on the right path.
Yeah, I think sometimes people are just scared to learn about it because they think it's out of their control, but the more you know, the better it is.
I think so. I just ask people to care. Simply, the best thing you can do at home, just care. And once you care a little bit and you kind of dig in a little bit, it lets you realize that, yeah, things are bad, but there's things that we can do as a society to fix this.
All right, thanks so much, Jeff. All right, you can catch Jeff on News Channel 8, and again, check out his podcast, Climate Classroom on WFLA.com, the WFLA app, on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcast. And when we come back, we'll tell you about the new travel trend of active and adventuresome coolcations. Bloom will be right back. You're watching Bloom, presented by Lifeguard Imaging. We begin where your checkup ends. Call now, 813-582-5222 to schedule your scan today. There's a new trend in the travel space called coolcations. People are trading beaches and deserts for mountains and the Mediterranean for Nordics. Joining me now with active and healthy vacation ideas is Exeter International President Gwen Kozlowski. Gwen, it's great to see you again.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
So people are chasing cooler weather.
Yes, I think last year was like the first full year that travel was back after COVID, and many destinations were seriously overcrowded and hot. I mean, we can't deny that things are hotter. And in a lot of places, we don't have AC like we're used to here. And I think that creates an uncomfortable atmosphere for a lot of people and changes people's perspective on where they're willing to go.
So where are people going? Where are you booking vacations?
We're seeing a lot of interest. Like over 20% of our company right now is focusing on the Nordics, and that's Scandinavia, so Finland, Norway, Sweden, Denmark, and of course Iceland, which is so much closer than the rest of Europe. And people aren't just looking to go in summertime. They want to go in winter. They want to see northern lights or stay in an igloo even.
Yeah, so what do you think is creating the demand for this?
I think more and more people want to get out of crowds. It's been very intense with crowding in the summer, and with those crowds also come higher prices. And people are tending to be more flexible on where they go and when. They just want to have a great experience, whether it's a couple or a family or honeymooners or whatever. They're just looking to maximize their time in a way that's comfortable for them. And I'm sorry, being in a crowded square with 10,000 people is generally not comfortable.
Yeah, it's not fun. And then also, this gives you the opportunity to have fun, active vacations where you can go hiking and you can go biking and you can walk beautiful trails and absorb this beautiful earth that we live on in a better climate.
Absolutely. And we see this with people going to even South America in our summer, so their winter, to get cooler weather, and it's not scary cold, it's just cooler. But in the Nordics where we see that, we see people that do want to get out in nature, and some people are intimidated in traveling in the winter, but there's so many fabulous outdoor activities then too, from dog sledding to snowmobiling to winter hikes, that it makes it really accessible to people. It's just overcoming that initial fear.
Yeah, I remember not long ago, before the holidays, my mother-in-law and I were at a speaking engagement that coincidentally you were heading up. And we did go as a family on a cold weather destination. It was fun. You just have to pack the right coat and get the right gear. And we were out and about all the time.
Yes, the weather is never the problem, it's your clothing. So as long as you pack right and you're prepared, I think you can find enjoyment in all kinds of weather situations, even if it rains. I mean, there are ways to get around that.
Now, I know you specialize in travel abroad, but for people that are like, I want to stay right here in this country, I found out just through some very dear friends of ours that even going to Michigan in the summer and going to some of these northern states that you've never been to before is incredible. And there's direct flights, and you can really be a savvy traveler, get out of the heat and not spend a lot of money.
It's so true. I think a lot of Americans look at the only cold destination is Alaska, which has a very limited season, and so many people do the cruises. But they don't think of all the cold weather national parks. People think of the Grand Canyon, which is basically a desert. They don't think of Glacier Lake or places in the Lake District in Michigan or Minnesota that are absolutely fabulous in summertime, and sometimes even give you almost a nostalgia, old Americana kind of feel.
Oh, you just gave me goosebumps when you said that, because that's exactly how you feel when you go there. It's just so beautiful. And when they say things like, we go every year with family friends that own a home, when they say Crystal Lake in Michigan, that lake looks like crystal. And it might be a little bit cold for my Florida bones to get in, but my kids absolutely love it. And you're out there doing like cool kayaking and stand-up boarding, and there's so many things that you can do in a cooler climate.
It's true. It's true. My son had friends in school who were from that area, and every year they would post pictures back in Door County, and it would look so appealing as we're here in, you know, million-degree weather.
Right.
And it's just, it doesn't mean you have to get on a flight to Europe or Argentina or wherever. It's right here.
Yeah, you could fly direct on like an Allegiant, like
Exactly.
a budget
Spirit,
airline.
yeah.
Gwen, thank you so much.
Thank
It's
you.
a pleasure seeing you as always. And we're going to share Gwen's travel ideas on bloomtampabay.com. And when Bloom returns, how you don't have to break the bank when it comes to working out. We'll be right back. Welcome back. With the cost of wellness, people shell out a lot of money for specialized classes and gyms, but you don't have to. Joining me now is the Happy Healthy Human Coach, Michelle Cuff. It's so good to see you. Thanks for sticking around.
Thank you for having me again.
So let's talk about the cost of wellness. I mean, gym memberships are going up. Why?
So I did some research, and I mean, it's pretty obvious, but I did look it up as to why is our fitness classes costing so much to the point where people just can't afford to go anymore. You know, and so what's happening is along with inflation, which we all know inflation just keeps going up, food costs are going up, gyms are going up, but especially fitness classes because their rent's higher, they're having to pay their instructors more money, you know, it just goes down the line. And then these really expensive boutique kind of classes, their anemones cost more, so it hits us. So people are foregoing this and they're just not working out, which we don't want that, right?
Yeah.
So also people are complaining that they don't have time to be driving to the gym in the mornings. They're having to work more hours to make up for the costs of everything. So I don't want to see people's exercise regimen go by the wayside. We don't want to do that. So how can we fix this? I brought a bunch of things, and nothing here is expensive.
And I'm wearing one of the things.
Yes,
Yes.
we're going to talk about this. And you can make yourself a little home gym, and then I want to talk about a timing mechanism, but let's talk about this first thing that Gayle has on. So this is called the Amorpho vest. We've all heard of weighted vests, but what's great about this one is there's these little beads all over which have weights in them. So this is 5 pounds. So it's not just on your back, right? And it hurts people's back. This is dispersed everywhere. So you can just put this guy on and do body weight exercises, which by the way, you have a home gym right here. It's called Your Body. You don't even need equipment, okay? But this is good because it adds weight. You can squat, you can do push-ups.
I want to look like a superhero in
You
this
do
thing,
look
too.
like a superhero. You're my hero.
Oh,
So
my goodness.
we're just going to leave this on Gayle so she can feel it.
Okay.
And so what I wanted to mention, and then we're going to go through what all this stuff is, there's a timing mechanism called Tabata. And I think we've talked about this maybe once before. But all you need is your iPhone and Your Body, and you can look up so many things on YouTube. Look up Tabata. It's 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off for 8 rounds.
Okay.
And then that equals 4 minutes.
Okay.
So, you know, pick an exercise, go through that timing mechanism, you'll get a good workout.
Okay.
Okay, so look, we've got dumbbells, which we know dumbbells, you can get great workout with dumbbells. So these are not too expensive. You can order them. You can go get them at the store. So pick these up, Gayle, and let's see you do a couple of bicep curls with these suckers. That's what I'm talking about.
In my new cool vest.
I mean, you can do everything with a set of dumbbells. You can get a few different weights. You can get a couple of heavy, a couple of light. I'm telling you, you really don't need much equipment.
Okay.
So along with that, I like this medicine ball, because you can do sit-ups with this guy. You can, so what I want you to do, Gayle, is I want you to try not to, I want you to give me just a little toss and catch it. Now get a little deeper. These are called wall balls. You can do wall balls with these. All right, and then I want you to keep that in your hand. I brought these one other time. These are little risers for your, it elevates your heels. Now I want you to squat with that ball. And what this is gonna do is, because her heels are elevated, she's working more quads here. Okay, so instead of getting more glute action, she's getting more work in the front. So these are really good too. You can do lots of things with these. All right, so we've got, this barbell is only 10 pounds, but you can do so much with this guy too.
All right.
So hold this, just a regular grip. I want you to flip your grip the other way.
Okay.
Okay, so I want you to squat and just press. It's called a thruster. She's getting shoulder here, and she's getting her legs at the same time. And with that timing mechanism, you would do 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off, 8 rounds, your heart rate's up. You can do bicep curls with this. You can do abs with this. Just so many things. You can do triceps with it, back, everything. Everything with one barbell, okay?
All right.
Now, how are you with jump ropes?
I like them.
All right, let's do it, because I hate them. So I said,
so you got me doing
I said,
it.
I want to see if Gayle can jump rope. I guess I should have made sure.
I don't know if I'm going to like it with this 5-pound vest on.
Yeah, so maybe I should have made sure that they weren't
But
tangled.
we shall see.
Yes.
But you would keep the 5-pound weight
Yes.
vest on while you do the jump rope?
Yeah, you could. I mean, you don't have to wear this vest at all. I just wanted to show it to you.
Oh, yeah, but if I wanted to wear it,
I don't think this is going to work.
that's okay. You just keep,
Okay.
you talk me through what
So
else you got.
while she's going through this,
Okay.
I want to just show you these bands real
Okay.
quick. So while Gayle's unraveling my jump rope, sorry about that.
That's all
So
right.
these bands are also very inexpensive, and you can use these bands for bicep curls. So
Okay.
you can anchor it with your foot. You can use them, you can anchor them to something and pull, and it gets your whole back. And there's just endless exercises you can do with these bands. Super inexpensive also.
All right.
All right, so jump rope. This would be good to do in between your weight sets. It's going to get that heart rate up. It's just amazing. Oh my God, look at you. You look like a little Barbie. She's a jump rope Barbie. I love it.
Yay.
I'm going to admit the happy, healthy human hates jump roping.
Really?
I don't like it. Yep, I'm just going to admit
I love
it.
jump roping.
All right, we've got a plate here, just a 10-pound plate.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to show you this one. So you're going to come up. This is called a chop. This is going to get everything. You're going to go to the side and down, squat,
All
lift
right.
up.
Well, Michelle is chopping. I'm going to encourage you to follow along with this workout on bloomtampabay.com. You chop, I'll jump, and we'll be
Yay.
right back. Living the Tampa Bay lifestyle means enjoying the sand, sun, and outdoors fun. So get out, get active, and nurture those healthy habits. Hey there, I'm Gayle Guyardo, host of Bloom. Now there's a new all-inclusive place with everything you need to shape your lifestyle, boost your health, and improve your wellness. BloomTampaBay.com, Tampa Bay's premier health and wellness website, made to help you feel good. Whether you're a fitness fanatic, beauty buff, or just want to take your first step towards positive change, this free website is for you. See the Bay Area's hottest fitness products, the latest workout crazes, and learn nutrition tips from the experts. Plus, discover local events and experiences designed with your well-being in mind. Cultivate a healthy mind, body, and soul. Check out BloomTampaBay.com, your local health and wellness website. That's BloomTampaBay.com. People in the U.S. spend an astronomical amount of money on wellness to the tune of $1.8 trillion. But there are ways to save money. Joining us now with how to save money on skincare is licensed master esthetician Kimberly Michelle. Kimberly, it is always so great to see you.
Hey, Gayle. Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. So we are talking skincare on a budget today.
Yes. So I love buying on a budget, but not looking like a budget. So that's what we're going to talk about today, and I'm so excited. There's so many tips and tricks and things you can do so you don't have to look like your bargain brand, but we're going to tell you how to do it.
All right, so let's talk about the benefits of natural ingredients.
Yeah, so natural ingredients, usually people think they're more expensive, but they're actually less expensive if you can find them in a combination. So stop trying to buy little specific things separately. Get them in a combination like oatmeal, green tea extract. Get those in the ingredients that you're already buying, and you're going to save a ton of money.
Okay, talk me through some budget-friendly tips that you have.
Okay, budget-friendly. Always look for the natural products, right? Not the ones that are full of chemicals, the ones that have the nice, pretty, fancy labels. You want something that looks natural, even the generic brands.
Okay.
I'm a fan of generic, right? Like when you get your medicine,
Yes.
they're like, do you want the name brand or generic? If it does the same thing, give me generic, okay? So sometimes the store brands are just as good as the other brands with the high labels.
Yeah, because a lot of times it's actually the same product,
Yes.
just without the fancy branded name.
Yeah, we don't need the fluff. So take your time, turn that little bottle over, and read the ingredients on the back. if they have the similar ingredients. And some of the generic brands will tell you comparable to this. So look at that other one, read it, see if it actually works for your skin. Are you trying to deal with oily skin, dry skin, acne? Make sure you're getting the right product for your skin type, not just because it looks good and they sell it in a fancy store.
Yeah, that is one of the things that you do recommend, is to know your skin, even if it means going to somebody like yourself.
Yeah.
And getting that initial understanding of how your skin works and what's going to be best for it, because getting guidance from an expert will save you a lot of money in the long run.
It will, and I always tell people, I got another hack for you, right? So at home, cleanse your face with whatever cleanser you have, and then wait about 5 minutes, get a nice paper towel out of the kitchen, and pat it against your face. It's going to tell you in a couple minutes if you're oily, if you're dry, or if you're combination. So take that paper towel off and look at it. If it's like really oily, you know you're oily. If it's dry, just like when you put it on, you have dry skin. If it's just a little bit of oil in the paper towel, then you've got combination. Then you can go get a consultation from an expert.
All right, and the other thing that I thought was a great tip is it's so easy, especially with the way Instagram makes it, where you could tick, buy. Try the trial size. Maybe go to your local cosmetic store. See if they have something available in a trial size, so you're not spending a lot of money on something that might not work.
Yes, you don't even know if you like it or if it's comparable to your skin. So always ask for the trial sizes. I love going in the fancy stores. You know how you get your perfume in a little trial size? They have the same thing with your cleanser, your toner, and your moisturizer. You know, those are my like foundations. And then get a little trial size, see if you like it. Or buy a 3-pack, the cleanser, toner, and moisturizer in a brand that you're not sure about, just to see if you like it.
I like that. And then, as always, we just want to thank you for, coming on Bloom and sharing your wisdom. And, you're so great to work with your clients and give them the advice they need so they're spending their dollars in the right place.
Yes, because that's important. You have your money and you work hard for your money, so you should spend it where you need it.
All right. Thank you so much. And we're going to share Kimberly's tip on BloomTampaBay.com, and stick around for more Bloom right after this. It's time for today's Bloom trivia question. How many blood cells does the human body manufacture every second? 17 million, 20 million, or 30 million? The answer is 17 million per second. But if you're stressed, your body can produce up to 7 times that amount. That's up to 119 million red blood cells per second. Well, thank you so much for tuning into Bloom today. You can catch Bloom anytime by following us on social media. We're on all major platforms, so get a behind-the-scenes look at all of the innovative breakthrough health and wellness conversations and incredible guests that we have right here on Bloom. And don't forget to check out our podcast, The Bloom Health Club. You can catch it live on Facebook and YouTube on Mondays at 2 p.m. We take a deep dive and have extended conversations with some of the top guests that we have right here on Bloom. You can stream episodes anytime on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. Well, we hope you'll tune in again on the next Bloom presented by Lifeguard Imaging. The My Fairy Godfathers are granting wishes and making difference in the lives of deserving girls. We'll share how you can help out. And we'll discuss how moms are relaunching their careers once their kids get older. So stay healthy, everyone, and I will see you on the next Bloom. Call now 813-582-5222 to schedule your scan today.